a.m.-ish. What the hell is today's date? Today is Friday, April 3rd. Am I losing track of time? No, I'm not. I'm a Virgo. And I've got my Llewellyn Witches calendar. Forgot to cross off yesterday. Busy day ahead of me, Virgo that I am. Moon is still in Leo till it goes void, of course, 3:29 p.m., so figure 3:30. Today we will go void, of course, and we'll be void, of course, until the moon goes into Leo. Virgo. Yay. Tomorrow at 5:18 p.m. So most of the day void, of course, tomorrow. So there we have that. I've got one more video to do in the Path of True Love reads, just doing Pisces today, and then I'm going to start working on the full moon reads, because the full moon, the wind moon, according to Llewellyn's Witches calendar, is on the 7th. So those readings will be the what do I need reads. What do we need reads from the 7th until, oh, interesting, the 22nd, Wednesday the 22nd, will be new moon in Taurus, and it's also Earth Day. Happy Earth Day coming up. Very, very cool. And new moon in Taurus on Earth Day. See, I love when symbolic correspondences line up like that. Why? Because I'm an Earth sign, just like Diana. Hope you have your coffee and your jammies. I'm kind of in jammies. I've got my happy pants on, but once again, I have defaulted to the cashmere hoodie. I love this thing. Teleworking, but doing both. Hey, Julia, sweetheart. Let me see if I can make you a moderator for this, just to see. Add moderator. There we go. I just made you a moderator. Yay, easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Great. There. We can certainly keep a contact. What do you mean? Oh, there we are. We're back. So what's that mean? That means that as people come into the room, and if you see shenanigans going on that I don't check, if you click on their name, or if you're on your phone, you touch their name, 3 dots will appear on one side of it, and if you click those dots, they give you options. Like you can mute them for 300 seconds, you can report them. At this point, I'm not so into reporting people, unless it's really warranted. Like if it really violates the YouTube community guidelines, you can do that. But otherwise, I think muting them for 300 seconds kind of keeps them out of the loop long enough that if we keep doing it, they'll just get frustrated, leave, and never return, hopefully. Because after the last 2 nights of, the first one with that guy, Joe, I mean, I have to admit, I had a nice long laugh after that he couldn't breathe because of the size of his appendage. I mean, I thought that was just really funny, but it was still disruptive. It was still inappropriate for the room. So I wouldn't have repeat offenders or horribleness. Yeah. So there you have it. You'll see there are all sorts of different options that you can do on that. And I think I have to do that every time. We'll see. We'll see. Learning curve, because the world is in a learning curve, which is why I wanted to stream this morning about creativity and prayer. Now, it might take people a while to find out what's going on in this room. I knew it as soon as they came in. I know, like, you get that feeling, and I trust that gut in myself, and I trust your gut as well. We've been through hell-ish together, you and I, many, many decades. My God, I keep forgetting that was the early 2000s. Sometimes it feels like further away, and sometimes it seems like not so long ago, but it was a long time ago. But since the moon is still in Leo for a little bit, I want to get to the subject, and then I will share this all over social media. Prayer and creativity, just the title came to me maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, making my coffee, getting ready, brushing my hair. And that prayer truly is a form of creativity. It is something that I rely on, obviously, being a mystic. I posted the Morgan drawing on I saw that. That was very, very cool. And, you know, so it is finding our creativity in a time of challenge is important. And sometimes I feel like part of why the challenges happen so that we come up with creative solutions. Like what's going on in the world right now, what's going on in the country right now in terms of people making masks. Again, I'm dancing around the subject because of YouTube guidelines, which I support those guidelines. I'll play within those rules. That's fine. I'm not that much of a rebel. I'm a Virgo. Can't be that much of a rebel. But, you know, our creativity is really key right now, just to keep ourselves busy, right? To keep ourselves occupied. But prayer as a form of creativity is an interesting take on things, because I'm kind of dry on creativity right now, but heavy on studying and learning rock and roll. Well, but isn't studying a form of creativity in the sense of you are creating more knowledge for yourself? That's why, to take it out of the artsy craftsy stuff, which I was raised with. My mom, nursery school teacher. I mean, we bought Play-Doh, but we also made our own. It's not that hard. It's flour, water, salt, and food coloring. We had shrinky dinks. We had color forms. People calling me on Facebook that don't even know me, like out of the blue. I'm sorry. Like, that's a creativity I can live without. So I'm sorry. He just keeps doing that. Hey, Bridget, how are you, sweetheart? Hi. Very, very cool. Welcome, Bridget. If you're my Bridget, are you my Bridget? I won't say your last name, but are you my Bridget? Because, well, actually, I've got a couple of Bridgets, but there's one I'm really close with. Going nuts, yes. Okay, yeah, honey, don't go nuts. Well, we're talking about creativity. You know, crochet something to cover my new car. Yes, Julia, meet my dear friend Bridget, friend of the broom, friend of mine for wow, a really, really long time. Yeah, I'm crocheting tarot bags. Very, very cool. Well, my tarot is not leaving the house. My decks don't leave the house anytime soon. So anyway, I wanted to kind of stay on subject a little bit. The creativity of prayer. I came across the work of Gregg Braden a long time ago when I had iTunes. I forgot my password, so I'm locked out of iTunes. And I have a friend who works for Apple, and they're like, if you can't remember your passwords, they can't remember it for you. Not just the passwords, the answers to your security questions. So it's gone with the wind. But I had a lot of audiobooks from Gregg Braden. I really respect his work because he was like a scientist, right? He didn't come to metaphysics and spirituality so much from that. I don't want to say hippy dippy, because that's unfair to the hippy dippies, because I was that for quite a while. But he really brought a scientific approach to it. And one of the things that he talked about were the 5 modes of prayer that he learned about while studying the Dead Sea Scrolls. See, that's what I think, I'm not going to say sets me apart as a witch, but like, I've been having this conversation online with people about not being Wiccan anymore. They're like, oh, well, isn't it the same thing? I'm like, no, saying every witch is a Wiccan is like saying every Christian is a Catholic. It doesn't work that way. But I'm not Wiccan anymore. I certainly have adapted and adopted many Wiccan principles. I mean, certainly the 4 directions and the 4 elements structure. I like earth in the north and air in the east and fire in the south and water in the west, even though it doesn't match at all where I live. On Long Island, it's like water in the north and water in the east and water in the south and earth in the west. But, I love that symbolism. And also the witches read poetic version. By the Wiccan law, you must in perfect love and perfect trust live, you must and let to live, fairly take and fairly give, cast the circle thrice about to keep unwanted spirits out. I mean, fuck, I memorized it. I might as well adopt it. But 8 words, the Wiccan read, fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will. That I live by, just because quantum, forget karma, just because we're all one thing, that's enough. It's like shooting yourself in the foot doing harm. But of course, I am a Virgo, and I will study anything that I am intuitively drawn to. Pisces moon, particularly anything of a spiritual or mystical nature to which I am drawn. Seems many of us have desires to extend and embrace many things that work for us. Absolutely. So when I came across the 5 modalities of prayer, it was a very enlightening experience. I really like Gregg Braden. He's got his own YouTube channel too. I mean, some of the stuff he talks about is a little tinfoil hat woo-woo land for me, which I know is a judgment, but we don't have to like everything that comes across us. And what we don't like today, we may love tomorrow. So who knows? But the 5 modalities of prayer, if I can remember them off the top of my head, are very creative. The first is sort of my favorite because it's colloquial prayer. Oh my God, will you get out of my way? Oh dear God, just get me to the bathroom, please, 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 please. Goddess, just give me strength, right? I love that. I really love that. Good morning, D. Hansel. I'm never going to call you by your true name because I know your true name, but not on social media, not on YouTube. So yeah, colloquial prayer, we do it all the time. Ready? Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. A mouse ran up my nightie. It bit my tit. I said, oh shit, Jesus Christ almighty. Thank you, Lillian Carter, my roommate in college. Her name was Lillian Carter, not Jimmy Carter's mother. Definitely not. Brilliant choreographer, though. If you ever get to catch her stuff on video, she's amazing. Green Glass Production Company. So that's colloquial prayer, right? The second one, and I'm not really doing these in the order, I'm just doing them as I can remember them. Petitionary prayer, right? Good morning, angel, sweetheart. So we have colloquial prayer, petitionary prayer. Petitionary prayer is what most people do, and I'm sure people are overloading on petitionary prayer. Oh God, please protect me and my family. Oh, please help us do what we need to do. And I use petitionary prayer a lot in groups, right? Particularly on live streams, and we will pray today before we're done. But we're asking things, right? Petitioning the divine for this, that, or the other, and there's nothing wrong with it. Please heal me, heal this chakra, help me heal this relationship, get this person out of my life, please bring me a lover, spell work, essentially. Well, the most rudimentary form of spell work is a spell is prayer with props. It's not ultimately true, but it's a good way. Please put one hand on the shoulder and over my mouth. Really good prayer there, Bridge. The third one is ritual prayer. Now that I was raised with. Our Father who art in heaven, amen. Right? Hail Mary, full of grace, amen. Right? Glory be to. I can crank out a rosary in my head. I just have to keep track on my fingers. Like when I was a kid, we used to do these like rosary things. I remember going to this Boy Scout camp. Yes, I was a Boy Scout. Isn't that fucking terrifying? I was a Boy Scout. I actually made it to second class. I made chocolate mousse in a Ziploc bag to get my cooking badge. Your son might be gay, honey. If your kid is making chocolate mousse in the woods with a Ziploc bag, your kid might be gay. Just saying. And I put cream de menthe in it, which the Scoutmasters loved. I don't know that they remember giving me the merit badge, but I got it. But what we had to do, they set up these stations around. I know I can't picture me as a Boy Scout. You'd be sardonic. Well, you got to remember, I'm the youngest of my family, so shit rolls downhill. So it was a lot of the abuse and neglect and crazy shit that went on that made me into the magnificent coffee swilling witch you know now. But what we had to do, walking around. Well, I mean, Girl Scouts, I think, had a better ethic. Make new friends and keep the old. One is silver, the other gold. I mean, that's like straight out of Charmed. Give me a rhyming couplet. But what we had to do, they gave us like this piece of fishing line and they knotted the end and we had to go around. And for each place, we would stop around the lake and we would add a bead for the rosary. So we would have like one decade of the rosary. So I can still crank out a rosary. And then I learned different versions of the rosary. There's a Wiccan rosary. So I love prayer that way. So that's the third one. So we've got colloquial prayer. Oh, good God, give me a break. petitionary prayer, or oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? Ritual prayer. You get it. I'm not going to do it again. So the fourth one is meditative prayer. Om Namah Shivaya. Aham Brahmasmi. Om Gam Namah. Right? Chanting. I mean, we have them in paganism, but I mean, pagan chants are so dirgy. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain, flowing to the ocean. Hoof and horn, all who die shall be reborn. Corn and grain, all who fall shall rise again. A little dirgy. I guess you could use those as meditative prayer as well as ritual prayer. Of course, there's overlap. But it was the fifth modality of prayer I found to be the most creative, and he called it quantum prayer. Now, to me, quantum is a big positive buzzword. If I had the brain, I mean, I dated a guy or was chatting with her, I forget, there's so many men, so little time, who actually understood the math of that, like the math of the quantum. He wasn't necessarily into the spiritual ramifications, but could like compute the math. I was just like, wow, he was cute too. So the quantum prayer is essentially what we consider creating reality. Just got to be creative and jazz up the dirge, right? If I never have to sit through another drum circle again, though, I mean, there's nothing worse than a drum circle. Yet I am incredibly attracted to drummers. Keith Moon. Moving on. Quantum prayer. The story that he tells is that a friend of his, a member of a Native American nation, that they had had a drought for a very, very long time. And you can find this on his YouTube channel, or, you know, just Google it, right? The 5 Modes of Prayer, Gregg Braden. I mean, he didn't write it. It's what he learned about from the Dead Sea Scrolls. And he said that they got into a Jeep and drove for like miles and miles and miles. This is in the American Southwest. How about that drummer duck? That drummer duck floored me. I laughed so hard. That was really, really funny. So they got in this Jeep and they drove for like miles and miles and miles, and they got out and then they hiked for miles and miles and miles. Now look, I have flat feet, so I would have been like, dude, can we do the ritual from here, right? You have flat feet, you know what I mean? Let's see. Have to TCB. Love and light, everyone. You got it, Phoenix. Enjoy the silence. I will try. Though have we met? Don't stay silent for long. So finally they get to this place, and he said there was a stone circle, just like a circle of rocks, not like, you know, the Celts, fucking towering megaliths. A circle of stones, and his friend, I don't even want to say what tribe he's from because I don't remember. I'm really trying to be very socially aware of the labels that we use on people, because we can get canceled really quickly. Anyway, so his friend took off his shoes, and mind you, there was a drought. Took off his shoes, stood in the circle. I believe Greg was still outside witnessing, and he just stood there for a couple of minutes, like breathing and whatever. And then after a couple of minutes passed, I couldn't tell you how long it was, I don't remember, he stepped out of the circle, put on his shoes, and they started walking back. But it wasn't like terribly long. Now, he was doing that in order for rain, right? Because the area needed rain, like their crops and all of that were in danger. People were getting hungry. Well, sure enough, this huge weather system made like a 90-degree turn and came and like drenched the area. I died one time in a stone circle at sunrise, and during my set circle was suddenly, aw, cool, Julia, very cool. Anyway, So he asked his friend, Greg asked his friend, it's like, well, did you pray for rain? And he said, oh, DJ'd, not died. I was like, oh, okay, got it. I was like, okay. So he asked his friend, did you pray for rain? How did you pray for rain? He goes, no, I didn't pray for rain. I prayed rain. And he's like, well, what's the difference? He said, when you pray for rain, you're asking for something, which would be more petitionary prayer. And he said, I went into the circle and I felt the rain on my face. I felt the mud squishing between my toes. I smelled the rain. And I was there. In other words, what he did is he shifted quantum timeline. That's why it's called quantum prayer. Now, come on. There are other ways that we tap into that. Mostly we tap into that through worry, right? That worry is a form of quantum prayer then, when we visualize, right? When we envision the worst. A couple of days ago, or yesterday, day before, it was yesterday morning or so when the moon went into Leo, we did a creative visualization kind of, sort of. Telling you in the workshop, can't remember which one. Yeah, it's stuck with me because prayer is a big deal to me. Prayer, I've been praying my whole life. I also have what I call the grace of prayer. It flies out my mouth. Doesn't matter the situation. It's like I need no preparation. It's just, I just start praying. It's a skill set. I don't know what it is. But that's why I wanted to talk about it today in terms of Leo moon, although any moon, any time, prayer is appropriate. You can't pray too much. But the type of prayer that I'm talking about in terms of creativity is a personal journey, that you can create a prayer out of thin air, right? To just breathe. To speak the truth of your soul in a way is a prayer. Because what's the difference between someone receiving an inspiration for a piece of pottery or a piece of writing or dinner, right? Or I mean, we create things. We create our own emotions in the sense that what we choose to think, right? And, I'm a little over the way that law of attraction has been taught. Not so much the work of specific teachers, but what people do with it. It's like we took the whole idea of you create your own reality and used it as a way of beating ourselves up. It's your connections and eloquence. Yeah, but repetition is the mother of skill, and being a chiacchierone means blabbermouth in Italian. Helpful. But side railed. Like we've been using the law of attraction stuff to beat ourselves up. It's like, how did I create that? I guess my vibration wasn't high enough. I must have been thinking the wrong thing. And it's like, no, there are things that are written into the script of the divine plan, the quantum field necessary. Look, nobody that I'm aware of deliberately created this situation that we are in. I'm sure the people who ate the bat or whatever the fuck that was going on wasn't like, let's terrify the world for a couple of months. Seems like a good idea. No. Probably hungry. I mean, you got to be really hungry to eat a bat, I suppose. I don't know. Judgment. But like, so here we are in lockdown and people are like not knowing what to do with themselves. It's like, pray. But we also are kind of getting through this era of thoughts and prayers. If you say you're going to pray, right? Sending good thoughts is lovely and all, but actually do it and do it repeatedly. Use the skill. It is a skill set, just like a creative skill set. So that's why I always include prayer when I do these live streams. And I pray before every reading I do, whether it's recorded, like the Path of True Love reads or anything like that on my channel, or before I do a reading or spiritual counseling, of course. I mean, essentially the prayer is do it through me every morning. I allow the universe to work through me to bring to life my most fulfilling reality, to make every choice, to speak every word, to make every decision, to manifest every outcome in alignment with my soul's high wisdom and reality. Make this day magnificent and beyond anything I could create on my own for the well-being of all. And so it is. Do it on my behalf. Love me. Here's one. I call upon the universe to love myself unconditionally on my behalf for the well-being of all. And so it is, right? Like, I don't know how to love myself. I don't know how to love myself the way I need to love myself today. God, Goddess, all that is, love me through me. Show me. Such a great prayer. So simple. Use me. God, Goddess, all that is. It's okay, Grace. Welcome, welcome. This will be a fun playback, I think. And we haven't done the prayer yet because I'm saving it for the end. Blessings to all. Blessings to you too, Grace. I just love that. I know that Grace Walker isn't really your name. Karen Walker, sister, honey, what's going on there? I love Megan Mullally. But getting back to prayer, that it is truly something that we can all engage in silently. These blessing binges that I do, maybe I'll do that tomorrow for the morning thing, or maybe we'll do that tonight. It'll be Void of Course. I'm not so shook by Void of Course. It's hard to get shook by a Void of Course. But there's less static on the channel, and I think prayer supersedes all of that astrological stuff anyway. So maybe tonight we'll do a blessing binge. I get really high off of them, and it just starts with may we be blessed, may you be blessed, may this be blessed, may that be blessed. Blessed be the flowers. What is it? Blessed be the birds, blessed be the bees, blessed be the flowers, blessed be the trees. Blessed be the skies up above, and blessed be a thing called love. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the skies up, the clouds up above, and a thing called love. Oh God, Dad, thanks for all the doo-wop music I grew up with. Oy. So yeah, to engage your power of prayer as a form of creativity, that when there's nothing to do, either sit in the silence, because it is in stillness and silence that we are replenished, that we are reconnected. I love Mel Brooks. Ascended Master Brooks. Ascended Master Mel. Oh my God. The Inquisition. What a show. I mean, so many lines of my life are just fueled by Mel Brooks's work. Oh, and if anybody is unfamiliar with what is it, the 10,000-year-old man, Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, I was raised on that shit. Go look at it. You've got to be able to find It's Good to Be the King. Absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm having Mel Brooks flashbacks. I can't stop laughing. De Monet, oh, Harvey Korman, oh, please. I wonder, I do have this section of my spirit guides, my pantheons, called the Shecky Collective. It's all the comics, the dead comics. I've got so many of them. I think that's where my humor comes from, and they absolutely drive my friend Mark Wendland insane. He's like, will you please tell them to shut up? And now he's hearing them, which I think is great. I have a hard time accepting silence, but silence is the voice of the divine, honey. Get used to it. Silence is golden. That's no shit. That's the truth. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. Creativity is a great gift, and I don't mind tangenting all over the place. Why? Because it's YouTube, and if it's making people laugh, see, that's why I do the prayer in the morning before I do these streams. I mean, you all don't see the spiritual practice I go through before I do this stuff. Not that it's a martyrdom thing or it's a hardship. No, I'm a mystic. I thrive on intimacy with the divine. And the Course in Miracles says prayer is a medium of miracles, a means of communication between the created and the creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. Well, I receive a lot of love through prayer. It's Frankenstein. What hump? I swear to God. Oh my God. Now I totally want to. Here I stand, the goddess of desire, set men on fire. I have this power. Madeline is always with me. Blucha! Me! Oh my God. Okay, look, here's the tea. Once this is all passed, we should like all rent a room in like a hotel centrally located and just hang out, drink, smoke, whatever we're going to do, and just watch Mel Brooks movies as a way of just like, tell Robin Williams we miss him. You tell him yourself, because they're all up there. And what, you think he hasn't reincarnated? Now there are different levels of time, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? But, you know, talking to the divine is a form of prayer. And, you know, I talked to my deceased father. I don't know that that's prayer. That's spirit communication. But then again, I'm a Virgo. I was born to compartmentalize, right? Frau Blucher. Blucher. Marty Feldman. Oh my God. What hump? Yes, our creativity today, reminiscing about creativities. Yeah. Because I mean, do the higher dimensions have Play-Doh? Probably not. You know, do the higher dimensions? I mean, I'm sure they have other energy forms to which to be creative. But even like Abby Normal, you guys are killing me today. I go. Yes, he was my boyfriend. Let's end this meeting on a high note. Cloris Leachman, still alive, I believe. Cloris Leachman is still alive. Anyway, you guys are too much fun. That's why I love doing these in the morning. This like gets me off on a whole, well, it gets me off. It's not the best way to say it, but it sets me off on a positive foot that way. All right. So let me take a little Q&A about prayer, really about anything, but about prayer. You probably don't have that many questions about prayer. I've covered it rather thoroughly. But then we will pray together. A crazy morning. Yes, God bless Cloris Leachman. I mean, maybe I will do a super chat just on the shit that makes people laugh. I ain't got no body. I don't know whether this chat evolved or devolved. It's probably a little of both. Oh, my horse laughed. Oh. Oh my God, that was great. I needed that. Haven't needed your wrench by your name. I noticed that. But the mornings, I mean, last night, if anybody was in the stream, where we had like demons and vampires going on, and you know, like I'm used to dealing with that stuff. I mean, when I worked at the Brew in Sayville, it was a regular thing. It's good work. You're killing me. Play-Doh in a can. Yep. Yeah. I wheezed out so much stress because of this. Yeah. Last night was really intense with that person, but you know, it brought out something in me I haven't felt in a long time, man. But did you see how I blessed that person? I mean, it really was. The intention was to bless, but he came to look back. You guys are killing me here. Welcome to the Derail Mal. Not Mal off topic. Super chat. It's fine. But last night you watched me pray at somebody, and I don't do that often. I usually pray with or for, not at. It was just weird. Go watch it. Like, you can see how distractive it was. But when somebody comes into the room and has a problem or something, it's like the Virgo in me just steps up. It's like, how can I help you? How can I serve? And even if they were serious, and maybe they were, like, I don't want to judge anybody's anything that way. I want to help, I want to serve, but it's still not my purview. It's not my bailiwick. Like, I don't deal with the paranormal. The idea of someone holding him down and carving symbols on them and making them a vampire or whatever, I'm just like, first of all, there is this thing that I've read that there are people going around on to different chats. I thought it was mostly on Zoom, but apparently It's happening on YouTube super chats as well, jumping in and just being disruptive because they have nothing else to do. So it's probably teenagers or people just with way too much sativa on their hands. Right? There's too much something going on, because if they've got too much indica on their hands, they can probably barely hold a cell phone. So go watch it if you want, because I handled it in a way that, well, it started off as a blessing and it became a power blessing, like the difference between a wash and a power wash. And then, whoo, all of a sudden my Irish ancestry came through me, because they had to bring up the banshee, which is the banshee. Banshees, if you're from Long Island. Oh my God, it was like Susie and the Banshees. No, it's the Banshee, Beansidhe, the Banshee, the Beansidhe, if you want to do it phonetically. And that Celtic whatever flowed through me from an ancient female ancestor of mine. And the next thing I know, things are coming out in rhyme. And it is like watching a train wreck, watching a car wreck. It just all of a sudden, it started like flowing out of me in like rhyme and meter. I'm like, oh no. But what came out of it? Thank you. I did the best I could to handle it, but the divine took over. Well, Coco Peru's not from Long Island. She's from City Island, and I love Coco Peru. By the way, I might have a new boyfriend in the making. So when I met online, we obviously haven't met in person yet because, social distancing. But really lovely person. We were talking about it. What accent? What accent? But now Julia will be, when she can make it, a moderator, which means that you can put people on pause, you can report them. There are all sorts of different options that you can have there. With being a moderator. So even if somebody from the Facebook group wants to be a moderator for these, if Julia can't make it, let me know. And we'll talk about the guidelines of that, because if someone's just kind of, because you have to go with your gut, but also you have to wait until there's actual evidence of wrongdoing and by all means, brush up on the YouTube community guidelines, right? So don't misbehave or I will pause you. Pause you for 300 seconds, but there are other options there. And, reporting somebody, I feel like, I don't want to say that's a step too far unless it's warranted. So have a look through the community guidelines. Really are things that everybody should know anyway, right? Whether you know the word for word policy. But it really is. It's like no hate speech. But to be deliberately disruptive, I'll just douse them with black salt. It's a little virtual black salt. Like all of a sudden we're going to LARP at our cell phones and our cameras. Fireball. Anyway, let's do our prayer then, right? We're 38 minutes in. I'm just going to reposition myself, get another sip of coffee. Oh, you want to see something sweet? Hey. Look at the ears. Did you see that? Which one is you? Oh, you are Melky. Hey, baby. You guys leave me alone, Mom. Oh, my baby. All right. Yeah. Don't see. Nothing like someone who's been to hell and back. I really have said, if you've been to hell and back, we'll get along just fine usually, right? So let's do our prayer. Mom, I'm sleeping. Who's my baby boy? Hey, baby. You want me to get you a tap dancing duck on a bongo? He's like, shut up, mother. Mom. He's my baby, my little one. All right. Tori and Melky, that's my boy. All right, so let's do our prayer. Take a minute, get comfy. I'm gonna sip a little more of my coffee. Let's use some prayer for creativity and some creativity for prayer. I am a potion witch and I make really good coffee. I'll tell you my secret to making really good coffee. And some people think this is gross, but once you get the hang of it, it's really good. That dancing duck on a bongo fucking killed me. I laughed so hard. Honey, raw organic honey in coffee. Because sugar can really like change the taste of the coffee, but honey really complements it. And then you put I put an eyedropper in my vanilla extract. Little vanilla extract in coffee with raw organic honey. So good. And raw organic honey is antibacterial, I think it's antiviral. It's really good for your immune system. And if I'm going to have sugar, let it be from the bees, right? From a bee's bottom. Okay, you ready to pray? Let's do this. 40 minutes in. We'll end with prayer. Everyone, please take a minute to breathe. Eyes open, eyes closed, whatever suits you. I'm probably going to keep them open. And then close them and then open them. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, please stream through me the grace of prayer, that we may all be uplifted by the creativity of our connection with the divine, that we may remember who we are, if even for a brief instant, returning to our connection with you, which is eternal, which never goes anywhere, but we get distracted by. That the sun never stops shining, but we can certainly shield our eyes from it. Let us in this moment then turn towards you again. May we breathe in your love. May we breathe in your light. May we breathe in your power, your love, your wisdom, that we may be channels of the divine deliberately, consciously, for the well-being of all. Inspire us, please. Give us the inspiration through our respiration, that we may breathe you in and create new things today, even if they are new ways of thinking, even if they are creative solutions, even if they are different ways of looking at things that perhaps have caused us pain and suffering. Perhaps we can look at another that we despise and see the wounded child within them, and for a brief second be willing to allow them to be forgiven, if not by us, then by the divine in general, which in truth never condemns. And may we be forgiven. May we see ourselves differently. May we tend to that child inside of us, the child that has been abused, the child that has been neglected, that child that has been manipulated, lied to, crushed, heartbroken, discouraged, that we may encourage, that we may uplift, that we may care for, that we may heal, that we may love the child that we are today in new creative ways, that child may come out to play, that child may be allowed to get their fingers in the clay, in the dirt, to play, to create, to go with the flow, that our innocence may be restored to us, that we may live lives differently, even if just for today, even if just for an hour, even if just for a minute, that we may feel and heal and grow and expand in ways that are fulfilling, that are truly hopeful, even if it's through prayer, even if it's through silent meditation, that we create silence and space for ourselves. And before we are done here, may we visualize. May we call to mind. May we pretend that this world is in balance, that the skies are clean and clear, that the people are healthy and healing, that the fear has been transformed to compassion and love for all of life and all of humanity, that we have emerged from this global crisis our hearts opened, our minds clearer, our understanding of each other more visceral, our experience of our own inherent unity more profound and more actionable, that we become more understanding when someone's in a rush and cuts us off in traffic, that we don't know their story, but we can feel their pressure. And so we relax. And by all means, may our creativity allow us to relax as your inspiration breathes through us into form, that we may recreate in our time of recreation, recreation, and that prayer become an art form for us, a means of communication between the created and the creators, that through our prayer, love is received, and through your miracles, love is expressed. Thank you. Thank you for this gift of prayer. Thank you for this gift of creativity. Thank you for this day and whatever lay ahead. May we have the creativity to receive it as for our own betterment in some way, shape, or form, individually, collectively, globally, for the well-being of all. Thank you, God, Goddess, all that is. And may all watching this stream, live or later, be blessed with all that they need today. And may they be blessed with what they need before they even know they need it. Under grace and in perfect ways for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. I love you guys. Thank you. I'm going to go do my Oprah Chopra meditation. Please, if you haven't checked it out yet, at least do one. I think you'll like them. There's Sanskrit in there. You know, I love the Sanskrit. Aham Brahmasmi. I think that's my favorite Sanskrit chant. Aham Brahmasmi. Then I'm going to do my Wim Hof breathing. And then I'm going to... oh, thank you. You're very welcome. Apple cider vinegar helps beat the buggies too. Yes, it does. Oh, honey. Honey. Yeah, I'm going to do my Wim Hof breath. And then I am back to the YouTube salt mines. I've been working in the coal mine, going downtown now. I'm going to do the Pisces read, and then I'm going to start on those full moon to new moon reads. And then my friend Liz Valentine, brilliant artist that she is. God, I've known her since the 90s. She used to come to my classes in Huntington when she was 18 years old. Quite a beautiful woman, quite a beautiful artist. She suggested I do inner child readings. I'm like, oh, like what does the inner child need? Like what a great way to heal the collective inner child. Anyway, you're so welcome, sweetheart. It is my pleasure. Thank you for this every day. They help so much. And that's what I'm here for, you know, that even if something should happen to me, I've always been saying, do the proceeds from your Vimeo videos go to? Yes, they do. All of the Vimeo stuff. Well, I get what they do. How Vimeo works, Vimeo on demand, is they take the money, they hold it for a month, they keep the interest, and then they send me my part of it, which I think is fair, right? That's how they make their revenue too. Yeah. So yeah, all the Vimeo stuff, the YouTube stuff, when people even in Super Chat, when they send you money, YouTube, I think it's 30% if I remember the contract I had to sign off on, but I get 70%, which is good. Cool. All right, sweethearts, I'm going to get to it. I'm sure there's more coffee in my future, but there's also, I ordered Italian yesterday. I always over order when I get Italian from the place around the corner they deliver. I inhaled a ham calzone yesterday. I mean, that thing didn't stand a chance. It wasn't in this house 10 minutes. It was like if it was cocaine, it would have flew up my nose. It was so good. But I also got a chicken parmesan roll, so I think that's going to be my brunch. Yeah. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed. Keep an eye on the channel. If you haven't liked and subscribed and hit the notification bell, please do. Because 11 p.m. tonight we will be void, of course, and I'm thinking it might be a good night for a blessing binge. So we'll see how that goes. Cool. Love you all so much. Wishing you the very best. and the very blessed of the day. But for now, say it with me, because you know I say it twice so that you'll be doubly blessed. All who do so are doubly blessed. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.